Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're watching from. We'll be taking life cycle costing using November 2016 question 2 from Ican Performance Management. You will read through the question, that will offer solution to their requirements.
Question 2. Tedisco Limited manufactures compact discs. It is planning to introduce a new model and production will begin very soon. It expects the new product to have a life cycle of 3 years and the following costs have been estimated from year 1 to year 3. We have unit manufactured and sold, price per unit, research and development cost. We have production costs, variable cost per unit, fixed costs, marketing costs. We have variable cost per unit, fixed costs, distribution costs. We have variable cost per unit, fixed costs, customer service costs per unit. You are required explain life cycle costing and state what distinguishes it from traditional costing technique. Calculate the cost per unit over the whole life cycle and comment on the price to be charged.
So the A part of the question says explain life cycle costing and state what distinguishes it from traditional costing. Life cycle costing is a method of costing where all costs associated with a product from its beginning to its end, that is from the research and development down to the disposal, is accounted for. Now the difference is life cycle costing tracks all costs from start to finish, that is from the research and development stage of the product down to the decline stage of the product, while traditional costing focuses mostly on production stage only. Then for life cycle costing, it includes research and development, marketing, service and disposal, well, just as the first point emphasized. Why this traditional costing does not consider pre and post production, that is before and after production cost, it does not consider it. The life cycle costing helps in long-term pricing decision, but this one is suited, that is the traditional costing is suited for short-term cost analysis. For life cycle costing, it recognizes product decline stage, which is the last stage of the product life cycle. Then traditional costing does not account for the end of the product life. It only focuses on the production aspect of a product or the cost that is related to production. So we'll take the B part of the question, which says calculate the cost per unit over the whole life cycle and comment on the price to be charged. So we'll profile solution to that B part of the question. So to the B part of the question, using life cycle, we'll start from the very beginning of the product's life. They clearly told us here, based on the information we have year 1, year 2, and year 3. We have units manufactured and sold. Year 1 was 50,000, year 2 200,000, year 3 150,000. Price per unit, that is the selling price per unit, is 900 for year 1, 800 for year 2, and 700 for year 3. Then research and development cost for year 1 is 1,700,000 and year 2 is 180,000. So after account for that, at the beginning of the product life, we have research and development cost. Research and development cost will have year 1 or have year 2. So year 1 will have 1,700,000, 1,700,000, and year 2 we have 180,000. Addition of the 2 gives us what?
1,880,000.
1,880,000. That is for research and development cost. That was before the start of the product's life. Then we have the production cost, which is both variable and fixed. Production cost. Production costs will have variable costs. For production cost, which is variable, for the variable cost under production, we have variable cost per unit 300 in year 1, 250 year 2, and 250 year 3. So for year 1, year 2, and year 3. 50,000 units was produced in year 1 times the variable cost per unit, which is 300. Year 2 we have 200,000 units of a product times the variable cost per unit, which is 250. Then year 3 we have 150,000 units. 150,000 units times the variable cost per unit, which is also 250. This will give us
15 million for the first one.
15 million. 15 million. The second will give us
50 million.
50 million. Then the third
37,500.
37
Million.
million
500,000.
500,000. And the total will give us total variable production cost. Total variable production cost is what?
102 million.
102 million
500,000.
500,000. Then we'll bring in the fixed production cost. Fixed production cost. For the fixed production cost, under production, they say the fixed cost is 5 million, 5 million, 5 million, all through the 3 years. So we're having year 1 to year 3, which will be 5 million. 5 million times 3, giving us
15 million.
15 million. So the totality of the variable and fixed gives us total production cost. Total production cost. And the total production cost is what?
102 million. 500,000. 102 million.
117.
Okay, sorry.
17
Million 500,000.
500,000. Okay. So this is total production cost. And we equally have marketing cost, which is also variable and fixed. So I have marketing costs. Marketing costs. For marketing costs, we have variable costs. And we equally have fixed costs. For variable costs under marketing, variable cost per unit, we have 50, 40, 30. So multiply it by the units produced. Year 1, year 2, year 3. So 50,000 units times 50 naira, which is the first one. Then the next is 40 and 30. So 200,000 units times 40 naira. 150,000 units times 30 naira. So this gives us
2,500,000.
2,500,000.
8 million.
8 million.
4,500,000.
4,500,000. Now this is for year 1 through year 3 variable cost. So that will give us total variable marketing costs. Total will give us
15 million.
15 million.
Yes.
Then the fixed costs under marketing. Fixed costs. The fixed costs under marketing, we have 3 million for the first year, then 2 million and 2 million for year 2 and year 3 respectively. So year 1 we have 3 million. So year 2 to year 3, that will be 2 million times 2, which will give us
4 million.
4 million. The total will give us total marketing cost. Total marketing MKG. Total marketing cost. So 15 plus 3 will give us 18 plus 4, 22 million. Total marketing cost is 22 million. We proceed to distribution cost, which also has variable and fixed. So I have distribution costs. Distribution costs. For distribution costs, we'll start with the variable aspects. Variable costs. Variable costs, they say the variable cost per unit for distribution will have 10 naira each for year 1 to year 3. So we'll have year 1, year 2, year 3. How many? 50,000 units times 10 naira. This is 200,000 units times 10 naira. And this is 150,000 units times 10 naira.
The first one, 500,000.
500,000. The second is what?
2 million.
2 million. And the third?
1,500,000.
1,500,000. So that will give us total variable distribution costs, which is what?
4 million.
4 million. Total variable distribution cost is 4 million. Then we'll go to the fixed distribution cost before we take that of the customer service. Fixed distribution costs. For fixed costs under distribution. For the fixed costs, they clearly told us that they have 1,900,000 all through year 1 to year 3. So year 1 to year 3, year 1 to year 3, that will be 1,900,000 times 3. That will give us
5,700,000.
700,000. If I add it to the 4 million I have initially, that will give me
9 million.
9,700,000. So that will be total distribution costs. Total distribution costs. We have that of customer service, which is only variable. Customer service. For customer service, which is only variable costs. We'll have year 1, year 2, year 3. For year 1, we'll have 50,000 units. Year 2, we'll have 200,000 units. Year 3, we'll have 150,000 units. So we'll multiply by the unit variable cost. The variable cost per unit for year 1 to year 3 under customer service is 30, 20, and 20. So this will be times 30 naira times 20 naira times 20 naira. So this gives us
The first one, 1,500,000.
1,500,000. This one gives us
4 million.
4 million. This one gives us
3 million.
3 million. Addition of it all gives us total customer service costs. Gives us what?
8,500,000.
8,500,000. Now the question clearly told us calculate the cost per unit. So we need to total all costs. Then we will get the total units and divide the total cost by the total units. So we proceed to getting the total cost. We'll add up all the costs we have computed for. Total costs. So to get the total costs, we start from the research and development cost. Research and development is how much?
1,880,000.
880,000. We move to the production cost, which is
117 million.
117 million.
500,000.
500,000. Then we move to the marketing cost. Marketing costs. And the marketing cost is what?
22 million.
22 million.
22 million.
Okay. Then we go to the distribution before customer service. Distribution cost, which is what?
9,700,000.
9,700,000. Then we'll have the customer service customer service cost, which is what?
8,500,000.
8,500,000. So 8,500,000. Total cost is now
159 million
159,580,000.
580,000.
Now this is total cost. The total units. We'll have year 1, year 2, and year 3. Year 1 is 50,000 units. Year 2 is 200,000 units. And year 3 is 150,000 units. And the total will give us 400,000 units. So I will divide the total cost by the total units to get the cost per unit, which is what they asked for. So cost per unit is total cost, which is 159,580,000 divided by 400,000 units. The cost per unit is therefore
398 naira
398 naira
0.95.
95. This is the cost per unit. Now that we have gotten the cost per unit, they went further to say calculate the cost per unit over the whole life cycle and comment on the price to be charged. Now their prices, we need to check the disparity on prices and the costs. So we'll have difference between price and cost per unit. Now the price will have year 1, year 2, year 3 costs per unit, which is what you have computed. Cost per unit. Price is what?
900.
900. Year 2 is
800.
800. And year 3 is
700.
700. Now their difference. The cost per unit as you have computed is 398.95. 398.95. 398.95. And the difference will give us
The first one, 501.05. Second one,
401.05. And the third one is 301.05. So based on this, you can see for each of the years, the sales price or price per unit is higher than the cost per unit, making it appropriate. Because at all points, we'll be looking to make good contribution or profit from any product we sell. So the cost is always expected to be lower than the pricing. So for each of the 3 years here, our comment will be, for the 3 years, pricing is appropriate. You can say pricing is appropriate for the 3 years. It's appropriate for the 3 years because our price or selling price per unit is higher than our cost per unit for each of the year. You can see their difference. So the pricing is appropriate. Assuming it was the other way around, we are having any of the years when cost per unit is higher than the pricing per unit, we will say for that particular year, pricing is inappropriate. But for the 3 years we have seen here, assuming all figures they have given us is accurate, their pricing policy is appropriate. Thank you very much for your time, and these are the requirements, and I believe you find the video useful for your studies.